Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Oh, it's nice to be back. Hello, I'm Mika. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And welcome here to Leap Taken. And we're going to talk new year, new witchy goals, planning, and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to shut my notifications down. While I'm at it, my phone's sorry, I was rushing to get back over here. Just that quick, I feel like my morning got away from me. Happy New Year. Hello, Happy New Year. And Skeet and Gemstones. Thank you for coming. I've taken my hiatus. For those who are in the membership for Leap Taken, I did update everybody there about my hiatus. Um, I hadn't planned it, so I want to kind of talk about that. We're going to talk about 2024 and all that sort of stuff. But I did kind of want to talk about it in case somebody else can relate to my logic and excuse me, why I did what I did, why I took that break like that. Thank you. I like these are my favorite. I have another pair and I got a third pair coming for the year, but that's another conversation. That's another conversation on just the growth of this channel and that's to come. Anyway, but yes, thank you. These I got from an online place. The place I got my like the hot pink reddish looking glasses, I got that from there too. This light is about to take me out. Let me help myself. Excuse me. Anyway, but yeah, thank you. I love these. I dig these glasses so much. But anywho, again, happy new year to everybody watching. um, so I want to talk planning for a witchy 2025, setting goals, crafting rituals, updating my book of shadows, and embracing the energy of the new year. There's a lot of things I'm going to want to share here, and I'm feeling invigorated to do so. But I do want to recap 2024 reflection. I think it's important to kind of take a beat and let's just look at what's happened. What's happened. So for me, all right, so when I say what happened, think about like what spells, your rituals, your personal growth moments, what stood out to you with that? Did anything stand out? And if it didn't, I think if you're asking yourself these questions, you should maybe start to ask yourself, why is that? Why did I have a year that felt like it really didn't have any magic? I've had those years before as a practicing witch where I feel like, what happened to the magic? There's no magic. Like, I feel like I barely did anything. I feel like I barely focused on anything or studied anything. So I like to ask myself these questions. But anyway, for me, what stood out, that wasn't this year. There was magic. But what stood out for me specifically was my collective magic that I've done with my coven, our successful spells and rituals. Those are big standouts for me. They were like really, I mean, impactful. I could believe it, but it's like still mind boggling how some things kind of came together. My own psychic awareness shifting with this current stage of life that I'm in. And I feared this a little bit because of not, having full understanding of what this is and um, so just a little backstory. My maternal grandmother, um, when she was nearing my age, if I got the numbers right, she was about my age. We called it a nervous breakdown, and I've talked a little bit about this before, but she's had that. That's what we called it because we didn't know. And my mom is like the oldest out of the girls. At the time, she had her brother was still alive. But anyway, I just remember being a prepubescent kid coming over in the middle of the night, and it was just crazy. It was just chaos. And my grandma has 6 kids, so um, it was just chaos, and we didn't know what was. I didn't know what was going on, and my mom was there to help. They called her siblings in the house still, and everybody's like young adults, teenagers. Long story short, years later, like back in 2017-ish, I remember having the good sense to reach out to my grandmother and talk to her about that. That event that happened so long ago that kind of changed the trajectory of everything at that point because she just wouldn't move back to the house that she was in. Everything changed. Her whole life changed. She was never the same person after that incident. And since then, people like my family have said things like, "Oh, that's the change," and that scared me. I was like, "The change? I don't know what the change is," but I was like, "Well, I want to avoid that." You can't avoid it. Anyway, but there was a little bit more nuance to it. As I began to grow my witchcraft in 2017-ish, I definitely was fully practicing magic and calling myself a witch. So I wanted to talk to her and ask her about that day and the events of what she saw. And she talked to me, and I don't want to go into the whole thing, but essentially, if we were in any other society, like maybe the society we originally come from, um, I do think she would have been guided, and she probably would have been protected because of her gifts that she was experiencing, because she could see things. Now, one of the things I just want to tell you, just in general, when you are communicating with your uh, elderly folk in your family and you're trying to see your lineage with witchcraft or spirituality and you're asking them questions, you have to remember language, especially if you know they're not progressive, and it's no judgment or shade. I mean, some people could only be so progressive based on their times and their locations, their status in society. They're just, you know, they just had to do what everybody else was doing. So my grandmother seeing something appear, an imagery, like something she's seeing next to somebody or around somebody, she's going to think it's a demon. So that's what she said, demon. So from her, it was negative. It scared her, and that's it. Because she was, you know. By the way, we took her to the hospital to see if there's something else going on. They didn't say they saw anything, and her sister, who was a nurse, had been a nurse for a long time, had just took her in during that time and kind of help her recuperate from that incident. And like I said, she was never the same. So when we're talking, she was clear mind. She has memory issues now, gets confused very easily now. She's 90 years old. She turned 90 in November. But 2017-ish, the thoughts was coming. We was still, I could call her, I could talk to her about things, I could run problems. Like she was my grandma, like normally. And I just realized how much I missed that. But anyway, she explained to me what she saw. Now I don't see what she saw. And I was talking to my sister about this because this has been a developing thing, something that's been developing. But it's more like I do see, but I don't see like a figure or the demon that is with someone. No, it's more like a distortion when I'm really focused. And then I just all of a sudden can see like waves around people. And instinctively I understand the energy. And I don't want to just simplify and say it's good or bad, but I can just see the energy. I can see the nuance in the energy. Um, and just immediate downloads. Or I guess I'm receiving the feedback from that energy that I'm seeing. This is developing. It's like seeing auras, but it's not like a color thing. It's more like a distortion around the outline of a person. And yeah, that's how it's happening for me. My grandma was approximately my age when this happened. And the reason I asked her about this back then is because I have been consistently concerned about this. I was very close, I should say, we were close. Me and her, we was like this. I spent after schools at her house. We would kiki. She's the first person that gave me coffee. We would sit and have coffee. You know, she give me some money. I run to the store, get her cigarettes. I was only 5. Like that's how we got down back in the day. And I didn't even try to smoke anything. It wasn't even like I was they had candy cigarettes for us kids a different time. I'm very much Gen X. So we grew up in a very odd time. We were allowed to just run rampant as small children, crossing streets, just out and about. Anyway, but she loved me. She took care of me when my mom, was working. My mom went back to school, and when I stayed over there, I slept next to her. Like I was very close to her, and I'm also the first grandchild. I should probably mention that. So yeah, her talking to me, and I trusted what she was telling me, and I kind of like just to make sure I kind of brought the conversation back up again in that same time frame to understand. But for me, it's sort of like I said, like oars, but it's more like the space around you is vibrating. And it's just been really freaky, I'll be honest with you, seeing that. It's one thing to talk about things. A lot of my experiences have been Happy New Year. Name's Renee. I'm glad you called me live too. But I'm talking about right now we're reflecting on 2024. And one of the things that has occurred to me later in this year is this what I'm calling my psychic awareness shifting. In the past, I always knew I was an empath. I definitely knew that. That was easy. And I think on some level, aren't we all? If as long as you don't have any blockages and things like that. I think it's human nature to be empathetic, to have the ability, some of us stronger than others. And I believe that that was definitely a strong pull. I'm the type of person, I'll call my sister and say, is everything okay? And she'll be like, how do you know? Like I can feel it. Something, my stomach hurts, something. I don't know. I just feel stuff. And I do keep blocks up because I don't want to be filling everybody's stuff all the time. I don't feel like having a quiz of, is it me? Who is it? What's happening? Then I got to pull out the cards. I got to call everybody I know. So I've learned years ago how to um, put up boundaries so that I'm not constantly do that. You can spell jewelry. That's the easy way to do it. So if there's like a ring or necklace you're always wearing, even your glasses and things like that, you can speak intentions when you wash your hair, as you style your hair, because your hair can be, it's like they say, your antenna. So you can direct it and you can also block it so that you're not receiving um, unwanted energy and things like that and feelings and emotions from somebody else. But anyway, so I knew I was always an empath. So that was easy to digest, understanding tarot cards, hearing, speaking with spirit, getting sort of downloads in real time. Like I'm sitting there and just things just pop into my head, and they're confirmed, they're validated. I'm accustomed to that. I'm accustomed to just getting a feel off of somebody, the vibes. I'm accustomed to that. This is a different thing for me because seeing something like with my eye, these eyes, seeing something kind of shift around somebody is a brand new experience to me. So it's been a little freaky. I'll be honest with you, it's been a little freaky. My ancestors have also always been with me in a way where I feel like I've been getting prepared for this. I My mother is someone who had very high psychic awareness. She was one of those people as a little kid would walk, and my grandma would confirm this, by the way. She could come up to you and tell you, "Oh, so and so came to talk to me last night." So more of a psychic medium. She definitely had that. So it makes sense. My grandmother, whenever I've had dreams about my ancestors, and my grandmother is in a dream, which oddly enough, she's in a lot of these dreams. She's always at a threshold, but at the part of the like a doorway, but she's always on the outside, and I can see I'm at the doorway. I know not to cross it. She's sitting in a chair. Now she's not over there with the figures that I recognize as my ancestors. They're always like shadow. I call them shadow people. Benign, not like scary. I instinctively know that they my people. So I've never seen her go to the table and be with them or physically where they're at. She's always at the threshold. And I believe this woman has the ability to be at the threshold. I believe that what she was seeing wasn't demons. I believe she was seeing spirits that were attached to the people that night, her children. And she freaked the F out. Who wouldn't? I mean, seriously, if you have no knowledge of this and you just like go into this awakeness, it forever changed her life. She was always a little bit more scary after that. I felt like she was never the same. And then I went through puberty. I wasn't the same. And it just our relationship changed. And I was grateful that like years later, as I became older and started having babies and things like that, like I would call her and ask her for like her recipes. Like, Grandma, how you make gravy? How you smother? I want some smothered pork chops. How'd you do that? So I'm like 22. Telling me my mom ain't mess with pork, so I never asked her. It would start like that. And then we would just sit on the phone talk, and then we would call. We'd be talking for hours. It was just going over stuff. She's just telling me stuff. And I am so grateful I had that experience with her. But I was always terribly afraid. And this is, I've talked about it within my coven, like prior to. I've been afraid of getting to this point because I was like, what if I freaking snap? I thought I was snap and I don't come back to myself. Like, do I become schizophrenic? Am I going to hallucinate? Like, I'm going to freak. Like, I'm over here thinking I'm what the kids say, crash out. Like, this has been an ongoing, very much of a concern for me, thinking this is going to happen, thinking I would be so far gone, I won't be able to come back to me, Mika, this Mika that you know, and you're accustomed to seeing on this screen. But these are very real fears for me. So I do think at the same time, the fears have been diminishing more and more as I've gotten older. But this took me through a loop this year, experiencing that. And I will just say this: if you truly are someone who you just tapped in. Maybe it was always there and you just tapped in, or maybe it's new to you. Something changed in your practice and how you can experience things. And it's like, hey, this is going to take getting used to because I'm not really accustomed to this. Up until this point, I was thinking I was having some disassociation issues. I mean, I did talk to my doctor about it. I'm y'all. This is I'm not somebody who's like, oh, it's just witchiness and move on. No, I'm trying to see about this. Like, it's just because again, I've been terrified. I was gonna, snap. So, yeah. So I see it's been a process, and now there's just this awareness that I just have, and I wouldn't say I control it. It's more of a thing because I was talking to my daughter about it. I said it's more of a thing where I do sort of need to be in a headspace, like very relaxed, or on the opposite end, very upset. Like somebody's got me out of character. Either way, I'm going to have the same thing. My reaction is going to be different, but either way. But I typically, since I'm usually not, upset and going crazy, just if I breath work, meditation, I can get there. Yeah, I can get there. And there are times that it was just happening, and I wasn't wanting it to happen. I wasn't willing it. I was still trying to understand what is happening. So that's a big deal for me in 2024. In 2020, I think it was 2023, I started doing like the auditory thing. Like I would hear something, and it didn't come back anymore. And I was like, what is going on? Again, I talked to my doctor about it. I was like, am I not getting enough oxygen and I'm like freaking out or something in my sleep? Do I have sleep apnea? I Side note, I am very practical minded. Before I go into, oh, it's some wonderful psychic thing, I'm over here thinking, do we have a health problem? Is there something else going on? I ask questions. So if I give you information, by the way, if you come talking to me, please know I have a very practical mind. I'm not just going to talk woo woo and not merge it with our current reality as well, and mind body soul. So we don't just focus on the soul and the woo. What's going on with this body? Are we okay? Are we getting enough oxygen? Why are you hearing voices? So I did check that out, and I'm healthy. I'm consistently getting blood work and speaking with someone, so I know I'm good. So I can now go into the woo woo part. So that's why I know that that's what that is. But I noticed that's not happening as much. And I do think this has just been a preparation. There's so many ungrounded people out there. Exactly. There is nothing wrong with confirming. One of the things I notice is, I'm going to just take a detour real quick. People talk about like a ringing in the ear. So I'm going to tell you a funny thing. Me talking about a ringing in my ear, me coming on here because I do. I have it's happening all the time now. Um, I'm 50 years old. If I come in here and I'm just constantly talking, I just know that's the angels or the spirits or the this, or that, and I wouldn't say angels, but you get my point. If I'm just saying this, right, somebody hopefully who is just has a inkling, somebody at least 40 and over, mid 40s is gonna be like, girl, you know this perimenopausal symptom. What is it? Tetanitis? It's not. I mean, maybe it is sometime. Or, it's a thing that happens as you get older. You just have this little, like, weird ringing thing in your ear, which I would find out is very much a perimenopausal symptom. So is disassociation, by the way. Fun fact. Not fun at all. But just let you know, the balance in your hormones, everything kind of waxing, waning at a rate that you've only experienced from when you went through puberty. It's like another puberty, and it's a long term thing. This is not menopause. This is before you even get to menopause, perimenopause. So you still can have a child, you can still get pregnant, and you just having a crazy hormonal decade. It usually starts with a lot of women. Some is early, is in their late 30s, but 40s. So I am now kind of checking the list to make sure that's not a thing and it's something more witchy. I don't see any shame in that. It doesn't make me less of a witch. It doesn't make me less of someone who has belief and faith into their practice. I'm having a human experience and I'm a witch. So I need to check the parts and the brain and and make sure everything's lined up correctly and the chemicals go coursing through my veins and make sure everything's balanced. And that's not the issue. Once I find out, oh, that's not it at all. Okay, now we can get into some other things. I'm 44. Maybe I've got to keep a check on symptoms. You might want to. You know, I didn't know anything about perimenopause. I don't even think I heard the word. Maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. This is a newer thing of me understanding what it is because the symptoms are taking me the F out. um, but I'm learning and I'm doing so much better because I have a excellent doctor's office that I work with and that team over there, and it's all women, and they have been beneficial in helping me with like the right herbal supplements. Like it's a legit doctor's office. Like my insurance pays for it, but the people that I work with, we're not immediately saying, "Oh, take an antidepressant, take something for your anxiety," because those things can have side effects. And I'm already having some other issues and now new side effects and these other issues. Like it can get a little crazy. So for me, and then again, my fears to end up having some sort of psychotic break. So we didn't want that. We didn't want that. So maca root is one of the things I help to keep, you know, the mood right. um, Maca root and something called Vitrex, which I found out is actually chasteberry. You might be familiar with that if you have a little bit of herbal knowledge. That's considered like a women's reproductive health herb and aid in, women's reproductive health. It is. It is. So I take that. And you want to increase like your B6 as well. That helps with like the other stuff because we're talking hormones, your sex drive, all that sort of stuff. Things dip or they go like this, and you kind of want to have a little bit more of a balance. You have really really lows and crazy highs. Um, Again, this is not menopause. This is just your body preparing you for menopause. So still could get pregnant, Phil, fun fact. So you're still dealing with the periods and all that stuff. And now, before your worst thing was just PMS. No, you have this other thing happening the entire cycle, the rest of the cycle. And PMS, if you've experienced it, becomes something where you're like, I don't even know who I've become now. Like, who am I? But yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest things with perimenopause I've learned is the lows are really low. Whew, I don't love this, but taking these supplements have been super helpful to me. These herbal supplements. getting more soy in my diet, help with the belly fat, also helps with the hormonal imbalance that kind of is happening. Um, yeah, so perimenopause. But anyway, that psychic awareness thing is a serious thing for me. It's kind of it's been it's I mean it wasn't something I was experiencing most of 2024, but trust me, when I left out, I was like, oh well, gosh darn, this is really happening, and I'm not afraid anymore. Gratefully, I'm not afraid. I don't think I'm gonna have my own nervous breakdown, as they called it, because we didn't know what else to call it, what else was going on. But again, I've had ongoing questions about when it comes to mental health, especially the extremes of like schizophrenia, the hallucinations, the people, they say they hear things, they see things, and things that they say will have them harm others or themselves. I've always been very interested in that and trying to understand. I want to understand the science, the chemical, what's happening in the brain. Like I want to understand that piece of it greatly. And I also want to understand a theory that is not just me, but a lot of us have, of the unexplained, the mysticism, the spirituality, all of that stuff. Where is that coming in? Especially when we're taking, people are coming from a region and a people that had certain practices in this part of their lineage, their ancestors. And I just wonder, we're in the new world here in America and, under a regime, well, shoot, where we came from in West Africa, they have a new world too. Anyway, colonization. But I just wonder, because we don't have our ways, they've been lost to us here and even people there, because the country, countries have been divided up and changed and things like that. People have been moved and all that stuff. But anyway, I just wonder if we had our ways and we had lead our our guides, our physical guides to guide you, would we have been separated and treated, with those people who did that, would they've been separated and protected? Would they've been loved on and looked after and become oracles and healers and things like that instead? These are just things I think about that sort of stuff. But we are in this existence and it is what it is now. Um, but yeah, that psychic awareness shifting is a huge part of 2024. So that's something I'm reflecting on and taking, you know, learning and just kind of letting it unfold to 2025. I'm just grateful I was wrong. I'm not afraid anymore. I don't have to be scared. So that's the best thing that came out of that for me, as opposed to just having the experience. The other thing I want to say is we're talking reflection of 2024, gaining more confidence in my cottage witchery so that I can invite others in on how I actually practice and making it approachable, making it. I know the optics. People who maybe look like me don't use the term cottage witch very often. Um, and that's why I wanted to create the other channel I did on YouTube called Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch. And we're growing. We're the little engine that could over there. The channel's growing. And it's just a different way I can showcase my practice and my brand of witchcraft. And I think it's important because, and I was led to do it because I think it's important because representation does matter. I think across the board is, yes, I have I have melanated skin, so there's that. Ooh, also, which is a part of me and my experiences. So that's the interesting thing. I'm also not one of these young cottage core girls running around in old fashioned dresses running through a field. I'm not that, but I'm still very much a cottage witch. And I think for whatever ethnicity, race, or whatever, we also need to see that type of representation too. Young, skinny bodies, usually someone who doesn't look like me without melanated skin, running around and, they're just making teas in a video. Like, I make tea too, but I think it's good to see a more what does that look like if you get older? What does that look like if you don't look like that? What does cottage witchery look like? How do you practice it? Or is there some other is there ever overlap with the people I'm used to seeing? Um, is there other folklore, like, folk magic that you have a special brand to yes, I do. So you get to see that, and they're bite-sized parts of my practice. That's what I like to show. So yes, that is something that I'm leaving 2024 with. Remember, we're talking our witchy plans, and witchy goals and things like that. So I want to carry all of that, like, I wanted those the things I just reflected on. I want more of that going into 2025. And I just have notes here that I'm looking at. So, because I've already gone off tangent multiple times. But anyway, I wanted to encourage, share in the chat in the comments here as far as is there something you're really proud of from your journey in 2024? Is there something, specifically within your witchcraft and your spirituality, or even if it's just somewhat adjacent? Representationally definitely does matter. I know that, the pop culture princess. But yeah, I feel like we all have things. We really do. We all have things that we had something, and it doesn't matter how big or small it is. Even if you started a book of shadows, you didn't fit it, maybe the goal wasn't to finish, or maybe it was, but you started it. You got some things down. Even if you just started your title page, you got a couple correspondences, you're winning. There's somebody sitting up here saying, man, one day I'm going to start, and they don't even have a book. They didn't buy anything, they didn't start anything, they didn't print out anything, they didn't write anything down. At least you started it. So pat yourself on the back if that. Um, if you're somebody who was, you started 2024, yeah, I'm going to get more in my witchy bag. I'm going to start, doing rituals around the full moon, and, I'm going to do this, do that. If you did one, you won. Because there, again, please understand, there are people who I was one of these people. So I'm not even talking about anybody else, but years ago, I used to be one of those people. I would commit and literally nothing. I did nothing for the whole 365 days out of that next year. And I used to feel like, oh man, I guess I'm not a real witch then. I don't know. And I constantly was in the space of thinking, I didn't call myself a baby witch. I don't know if anybody called themselves a baby witch back then. But anyway, I was like in perpetual infantile witch mode. Like, I just wouldn't move forward for some reason, mostly out of fear. Shadow work that resolved that, by the way. So let's talk about setting witchy goals for 2025. So um, I do, because I'm in a planner community and I'm a bit of a productivity junkie. Like, I like that type of content. Do I apply it all? No, but I do like consuming it. That's my toxic trait. I love a good productivity video. Like, I like cleaning videos. People set a timer and they have all these tasks, and they show you, and they cross reference and show you how they have it, like on their board or like on a fridge. I will buy the things. I'm get the planner. I do have on my refrigerator, like the calendar thing. It's acrylic, and you put your to dos and all that stuff in it. I go crazy over this sort of stuff. Do I use it all? Do I have a system that is foolproof? Like, did I discover something? No, I'm always looking. But I like it. It's like one of my hobbies. I don't know. What are you gonna do? This is listen, I can have other hobbies. This is okay. Anyway, but categories. So like your personal growth, magical practice, and for 2025, community engagement. This is not something I've lightly made these goals in the past, but community engagement. I'm really we're gonna work on this one for 2025. Um, I do want to say something, because I had this conversation with at least two people about this. So I just want to say, remember, it's okay. I made my little note. It's okay to plan goals and align with what you're manifesting, even though it's the middle of winter. This is the perfect time to plan, brainstorm, journal, also rest, relax, and go within. When the spring equinox come, that can be a time when you put it all into action. Um, but what I would suggest, and what I'm doing, is I'm harnessing the energy around right now, like all of us people are doing vision. I'm going to have a vision party. It's not vision board, it's a vision party. I'm going to someone else's tomorrow and I'm doing my own. Like I have my goals planner right here and I set my things today. I waited till today to do it as a ritual. But yeah, setting intentions, manifesting and goal setting, you can harness the energy around that. There's lots of people doing that. There's a whole marketing team waiting for us. You know, the gyms, the meal prep, the meal delivery services, your healthcare providers, clinics, all these people, all these different industries, they are tapped in and they're going to reap from the collective energy in sales and profits. Why can't you as a witch reap from this energy in your intentions manifesting and your goals actually, having a better chance to actually work out because you've been tapping into the collective energy? Just because we're talking about setting goals, just because you whip out the vision board and all that sort of stuff, doesn't mean that January 2nd, you need to be doing all these things now. Wouldn't it be great to spend the rest of the winter sort of sorting it all out and seeing what does this make sense and thinking on it and sort of ruminating? Like this is the time you can ruminate. You don't have to do anything right away. But what's wrong with planning and brainstorming, dreaming right now? What's wrong with taking those dreams, those ideas, and writing it down or finding a picture that corresponds with it and putting it on a piece of poster board, or a poster board, and looking at it and just kind of wrapping your mind around the idea of it, falling in love with the concept. Some of us have some really big ideas. I plan on doing a lot of big goals and big things that are big. They're going to change my life this year. Why would I? It's one thing to say, well, don't, we are not supposed to be doing all that in the winter. We're supposed to wait till the spring. That's when it really starts. Great. So, do I think about it in the spring or do I act on it in the spring? Or somehow am I doing both? I'm asking you to take this opportunity to tap into the energy and just set the plans, think the thoughts, dream. And then come spring, let's do it. Why not plan now? Why are you putting so much pressure and kicking the can down the road and then you just have an empty can come March? Because you fell for the others, because I do think it's a special brand of folk who, when they see a lot of people, the collective, kind of all exchanging energy. We're all like, oh, let's crush our goals. Let's get started. Let's do this. And we're all excited about the new year and the vision board and all that crap, right? We're all gung ho about it. And I think there's a special brand of people who are low key envious because they just can't conjure the energy to be excited as the rest of us. So they go on social media and they post things about, you're not supposed to be doing, you're supposed to be rested. First of all, I can do both. I can walk and talk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So I can plan, dream, and sleep. Like I'm good over here. So, we're not bears hibernating, for the rest of the winter. We're still in life. We're still moving about. We're still being influenced. We're still being inspired. Why not just plan, write it down? That's all I'm saying. Just write it down. I digress. So, I want to talk about, so give you guys some of my personal examples. Like for me, for personal growth, I want to focus on herbal healing magic and journaling deeper this year. Deeper. I slipped for me in 2024, and it's so funny because my doctor, one of my appointments I had toward the end of the year, she asked me, "Are you journaling?" And I said, that's a great question. I do journal, but not in the way that probably would be best for me at this point. I need to go back to like old school Mika and like keep a diary. Just, is not input whatever in there. I need to go back to that. I'm thinking the easiest place for me to do that, I love the idea of a beautiful journal and a pen and all that because I'm a paper crafting type of person. I love that, but I low key think I need to just use my iPad and just use the pencil on there. I think that it's probably the best option for me because it's going to be there and it's almost always charged. I love that about an iPad. It doesn't run down as quick, and just use a notes app. I think I'm just going to do that. I think that's probably the easiest. I'll still do all my other types of journaling, but like my diary, I think I'm going to just have it on using the notes app and just use that. I think that's the best thing for me because I can either use the pencil or I can switch off because I have a keyboard to, Bluetooth to go with the iPad. I can make that work. I just made myself a small home apothecary, and I'm currently reading herbalism books. Oh yes, I got my apothecary thing. I got that going. Part of that, my herbal healing magic, and focusing on that is better interacting with my apothecary. So I'm a collector. If you can see all the stuff in the back, I'm a collector. I'm someone I can collect things. I love collecting books, knowledge, trinkets, items, shiny things. Okay, I sound like the Little Mermaid anyway, but I love collecting. I want to use the things that I'm collecting. And if I'm focusing on herbal healing magic, like the thing about it is to gain more knowledge and practice, put it into practice, interacting with my apothecary more often, knowing, forming relationships with those herbs more. And the only way I'm going to do that is actually interacting and not just collecting herbs. So that, and this is my thing, this is a personal growth thing for me. And again, the journaling deeper. So for my magical practice, I do want to explore more deity work and mysticism. And I want to deepen my relationship with some specific deities and spirits for wisdom and partnership. I am not someone I'm not comfortable with the idea of worship. I'm not comfortable with the idea of sacrifice. I don't like those. I'm not gonna do that. I don't like it. So any relationship with any deity that requires me to constantly be feeling like I have to sacrifice, um, and that it's like they're up here and I'm all the way down here and I'm just a lowly wretch begging. Like I can't. No, that's not me. So partnership and for wisdom and guidance, that type of relationship. So like I want to explore path working with a deity. There's some I have in mind, but perform devotional rituals. So devotion is not to me the same as worship. For some people, there's no distinction and they're comfortable with that. But since those words concern me so much, devotion is better. Yeah, but devotion, rituals and things like that, I want to be able to focus on doing that more, channeling messages better, making the time to do that. And I'm thinking through trance work might be good for me, especially with this other psychic awareness shifting that's happening with me. Cultural magic and folklore studies. So that's the other thing that I want to, one of my goals that I'm working on. So like I want to explore rich magical traditions from specific cultures. And when I mean specific, I mean we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing some history, some history lessons. So I'm looking forward to doing all of that. And of course, me being me, these things that I do, I'll set up like my own little books, Book of Shadows, grimoires to note everything. Um, yeah, but I want to study magical systems from around the world more so. I have, but I want to pick it back up and I want to go really deep into it and incorporate folklore in my spells and focus on practicing practices tied to my ancestry specifically more so. And I'll be relying on historical information and communing with my ancestors to accomplish that. Do you guys have top goals for 2025? I mean, we hopefully have some goals, but like, is there something like top of your list? These are like my top witchy goals, by the way, that I'm sharing with you. And as far as the tools for planning, um, I'm going to be using my magical planner. Let me show you. I slept wrong 3 nights ago and I'm still got to turn like this. Y'all, I can't tell you, getting older. I can't even say this because this was happening to me. I'd be like 30, and I remember having this happen to me. But this is my witchy planner. And when I mean my, I made this. This is mine. I sell it. You can buy it at leaptaken.com. But yeah, I'm using my witchy planner. This is a way for me to keep track of everything. Um, it's a beautiful planner. And for the practicing witch or want to be practicing witch, you're going to have a lot of information here to go with. And there's just a lot of detail in here. But if you are interested, seriously, go to leaptaken.com and you can purchase the planner. So there's that. And it's a digital download, so you can, arrange it how you see fit. But this is one of the ways that I'll be keeping track of everything as well. And then my dark half of the year book of shadows. If you recall, I started this, well, in dark half of the year. I think I started like October. So I have been still updating in it. So continuing to work with that because that's going to take me until, like I said, about February. And then I'll start a new book. But I'll be able to record a lot, especially the deity work and things like that. That's the space also I can record things and things I've already included there that kind of fit my magical goals anyway. But yeah, this is how I can stay organized because that's going to be a place that can go for January and February. And then I'll be starting my what I'm going to call my light half of the year book of shadows, which would start off in the spring. So, it all works. But yeah, I'll be able to track my rituals there, moon phases, and spell work as well in between those things and my planner. So for if you were curious, I'm not gonna I did share this if you're interested on my other channel, Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch, an entire breakdown and flip through. I didn't want to repeat it over here, but just to kind of give you an idea, I have here, I've created a page called the Manifestation Planner. So this is a blank one. This is what I mean when I'm talking about having tools to help me navigate and make it make sense. So this is one of my pages in the planner that when I'm saying use it as a tool to plan, I meant it. Like I really have something in place to help me make these things happen, make it come together. And of course, I have the standard things as well in here. I also included a mood tracker. I even have a witchcraft tracker with some suggested things in here that witches may do, something where you feel like you're doing something witchy every day. So I do also have that in my planner as well if you're interested. But this is how I'll be helping myself with my magical goals in 2025. I have to plan everything or it doesn't happen. Exactly. I have a year at a glance planner in here, as well as your monthly, a daily, and a weekly. So for people, it sounds like us who you just need to get it out of your head onto something. And a note, I know people say, I just write it in a notebook. It's no big deal. That's cute today. Come 6 months from now, if I've been consistently writing things down in that notebook, it's not gonna. Where am I starting? This is organized. You have trackers. You have a monthly. You have a year at a glance to plan in things. Then you have a weekly sheet where you can take your goals, turn your goals into individual tasks that are needed to complete the goals, and you can apply that from a yearly point of view, monthly, weekly, and then daily. And I even have another page set up just for your magical week. So it's a weekly page, just Monday through Sunday of that's where you're going to write down your spell results, your rituals, jot down something about a dream. There is dream journal sections in here as well, and also tarot. So I've kind of thought of all the things, and I love the purple witchy aesthetic that I just carry through the whole planner. But yeah, that when I mean I don't want to just write it down. I also want it to be organized so that I can say, keep going back and looking at everything. Um, and actually understanding my original thoughts at the beginning of the year. What did I say I wanted to do? And what are the tasks? How do I want to accomplish this? But the manifestation planner is definitely where it's at, to help with that as well. I just bought cardstock printer paper so I can download and print your witchy butter. Yes, you should. Yes. Now I laminated because I'm me, but I laminated the cover here, and I just used some rings. And this is just 8.5 by 11. Prior to, because I do sell more than one planner, the first planner that I created, I put in this A5 planner, and that's called the Cottage Witch Planner. By the way, this is a year's worth. But yeah, this is the cover for that one, which I also laminated as well. And the covers have a front and a back. Yeah, you have a laminator, perfect. So you can print this out. You can print in an A5 format, which I did for an entire year, and I did like it. But you see how I'm turning. But I also realized that I really do want more space for the what this planner represents. I need more writing space, and I'm using an old Happy Planner cover that I've had forever, and yeah, I just put this inside of it in the ring. So this is 8.5 by 11. Or you can go with the As I Struggle Classic. This is actually the Daily Grind Planner that I purchased from somebody else. This is their goals planner, but this is similar to like the classic size Happy Planner. Remember, if you don't know what size, you can always just Google what is classic Happy Planner size. If you have that, I think it's like 7.5 by something. I can't remember. Y'all, I got these baby locks coming in, and they want to rebel. They're sticking out. So I got like super long locks and brand new locks. Perimenopausal symptoms, thinning hair. But I've been treating myself, and it's growing back. It's beautiful. I think I'll do the 8.5 by 11 for extra space. Awesome. That's great. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I really worked on this because I don't know about y'all. I'm one of those people. I go and I look on Etsy, Amazon, and like what are people using? And I like options. I know I don't, yeah, I like options. Like I want a daily page, I want a weekly page, and I want a monthly page. I want a yearly page. I want another thing for my magic. I want trackers. I want all of it. I want journal sections. I want it all. So I took the way the way my mind goes, and I made this planner. Hopefully, y'all all like it. But thank you. I'm glad you inquired about that. Um, yeah. So a couple tips. So you want to set aside time weekly to review your magical goals and adjust as needed. I think I know it helps me to stay aligned and consistent. And don't let the concept of magical goals throw you off. Some people is like, oh, I like it to be more ad hoc. I want to just do things as they come. You can. Things change, they evolve. You can have an experience over the course of the next few months that now you're looking at everything differently. That's what happened to me at the end of the year of 2024. My outlook has just changed in general. I'll be honest with you. I just have a totally different approach going forward. But isn't that supposed to happen? Isn't that we're supposed to rise to the occasion of just growth and evolving as we experience life? So along with that, your goals are going to change, and that's okay. Also, it's okay to kind of still be just thinking high level. It's like, well, what do I want to do? Well, I feel like I've been successful in almost everything I've done as far as my spell work. I feel good, connection with my rituals. So you might just want more of the same, but that's a goal. How are you going to make more of the same? Consistently doing your rituals, or continuing on your path of, you do it when you feel like, but you feel fulfilled with that. That's okay, but that's still a goal, you know, just that's still a goal. So I did want to share some very simple, because I am a witch, some New Year ritual ideas. There's a lot out there. I'm just giving you my cute little simple one. So um, today's January 1st, 2025. Um, Here's a cleansing and intention setting ritual that I'm suggesting. A white candle, because almost everybody has it, but if you want to use another color, that's fine. So you're gonna cleanse your space with your favorite herb or incense, um, or spray, because everybody doesn't do that, and that's cool too. If that's not an option, and you're just like, yeah, I really want to do this. I have a white candle, but I don't have any of those things. But I really want to try to do this today. Clap. Walk around your space, clap loudly, snap loud. The vibration, you breaking up the space, you cleansing, you just do it. Open up a window, do sweeping gestures with your hands. Imagine you're just stale, stagnant energy. It's out. It's out. Even if you don't have to do it this long, open the front door, same concept. Energy, just pushing it out. And start like at the back of your home, just kind of just do a sweeping gesture like that. If you don't have the smoke and all that sort of stuff, I'm just giving you some options. Um, Write down your intentions for the year. Your intentions could be to be kinder to myself. I'm not asking you to do a big thing. I think a lot of us need to do that. Just be kinder to ourselves. Um, your intention could be to be a badass witch. Your intention could be, um, be more open or go more within. Maybe I've been too open in 2024 and it's too much. I need to focus more on me. That's just your intention. It's simple. Once you have that, you want to write that down on the paper, fold the paper, and place it on your altar. How you fold the paper, the direction depends on what that intention is. If it's something high level where you're trying to bring something to you, I want to fold it toward me. If it's something you're getting rid of, fold it outward. That's kind of just general rule. But yeah, leave it on your altar. For how long? As long as you want. And when you're prepared, burn the paper. You might want to keep the paper. Maybe the paper stays on your altar for the whole year. That's the point. And then you have a new ritual for 2026. You review that paper. Or maybe you occasionally go and you touch the paper or you're interacting with it. Same thing. Maybe keep the paper in something in a small box. And occasionally you just, especially when things feel like throughout the year where it's like, dang, it's not going the way I thought. Maybe you come back and you just sit quietly with that box or that piece of paper and take some breaths and just try to go release that energy that you put into it today when you did it and try to get energy off of that as the year continues to go on. Or you can burn it. For some of us it's like a one and done. We wrote it down and you burn it. That's up to you. Other options are a prosperity jar with herbs and crystals. You can do that to align with abundance, or in addition to self-love rituals. I'm going to talk about this because one of my intentions is more self-love. Self-love rituals to renew your energy, your confidence for the year ahead, and you can, that's whatever makes sense for you. Um, does anybody have any like favorite New Year rituals outside of the ones we know about? Like I did the black eyed peas, the collard greens. I'm very much a Black American person. I did that, cleaned my house, all that sort of stuff. Did that. Laundry was done, put away beforehand. But is laundry ever really done? I mean, as soon as you take your clothes off from that day, you got dirty clothes. But anyway, I digress. I did the majority of the laundry. Um, and you stay up, the ritual of just staying up to midnight and saying happy new year, toasting with your bubbly, all that sort of stuff, setting your goals. These are rituals, guys. So I mean, we all know about that, but do you have any other rituals that you might do? um Mine is the process of taking down the Christmas decorations and leaving the winter. So that's a process for me, distinguishing Christmas Yule from winter. That is a ritual. It's a labor of love. I mean, it's work. I'm physically doing things, but I enjoy it. I like doing it. And that's my personal ritual, to be able to do that. And there's thought and intention behind it, by the way. I am a cottage witch. So, um, yeah, so that was pretty much it. I got my notes here. I hit all my points that I wanted to talk about. But those are my goals that I'm magical goals that I'm working on. Again, no in-year rituals, but I am actually putting my laundry away right now. A win's a win. A win is a win. There you go, Insky. Put your laundry away. There you go. Listen, I have become so lax in the laundry department. I was somebody who would probably I would wash clothes. Mind you, I was a stay-at-home wife to, and I had little people, like kids, once upon a time running around this place. Well, not this place where we used to live. I would do laundry for the whole house, not because I was, they couldn't or they wouldn't, or I don't like people touching my appliances. They don't do it right. Weaponizing competence, potentially. I don't know. Either way, to keep me from hurting them, I prefer to just do touch the washing machine and dryer and do it myself. When they got older, they would do their own stuff. My daughter definitely does her own laundry at this stage of her life, because we live together. More Gilmore Girls, not like mom doing everything anymore. But yeah, I like doing laundry, but as I've gotten older, I like washing the clothes and put them in the dryer. That's still nice. I love the good smells. I don't feel like putting clothes away. I don't feel like hanging anything up. So they do sit in the basket longer than they should. I could make that a goal or a task to do. I'm not, because I feel like, you know what? I've had so many years of being, a little nutty about it and like being on it. Why not? I do that, take down the decorations, but around the 6th and put up winter decorations, yeah. Like, some lights are gonna stay up because and, like, the garland, I wanna keep that up, I think, going into, at least for the rest of January. I've been thinking about that and being intentional because I want the energy that it brings because I want that light in my home, that cozy feeling. Here in this in Aris, Phoenix Metro, like Phoenix area, the weather is beautiful during the day, especially by the afternoon. It's very comfortable. You notice I have on a sweater. I can wear a sweater, and if you're somebody who runs a little warm, you might just be wearing a short sleeve and you would think it's comfortable. Like, the highs are getting like to 70, but at night it drops down in the 40s. So like in the middle of the day, it's nice. It's just really nice weather. It's not really not hot, it's not cold. It's just real, I call it patio weather. If you're the type of person who need a jacket, you put on a jacket. If not, you're sitting up there with your short sleeves on. But it's good weather. But with that, it's a little bit more overcast days than I'm accustomed to living here, especially earlier in the day. It's not as bright and sunny. And my living room, I want light, and it gets darker faster. Although that's gonna start to change, but for now, I'll keep the lights up for that purpose, to keep the coziness going a little bit. Um, a thing I just wanna say, before I wrap up is or as I wrap up, try to remember to take things at your own pace when you're setting your goals. Um, your practice should feel joyful and aligned with your spirit. It's your practice. And, it's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration for other people on how they do things. I'm talking about myself included. And we can be inspired by other people, but it's your practice. And if you have a more, chill way of approaching witchcraft and how you go about it, and you don't want to write everything down and you don't like doing it that way, that's great if it's working. I think one of the things that some of us might, as witches, might be too, we're maybe not so quick to admit that we say that, but technically it's not working. I'll ask you this, and I'll wrap up with this. If you are someone who you feel like, no, no, it works for me. I'm doing good. My spells work. I don't have any problems. When it comes to a spell for a resolution to problems, if you got hit right now with 3 different problems, and I'm not wishing that, but like problems to solve. Maybe they're not even yours. Maybe they're for somebody else. Maybe it's like a short-term money issue. Maybe it's someone, it's a health issue, but it's not like life or death. It's like, oh, something that is going to heal, but it's such an inconvenience because they got a trip plan or you have something going on. You got a cold. not the flu, the cold, a cold, something like that. And let's throw in one more other thing. You keep having dreams. You keep having these dreams and symbols, a sign, something keeps coming to you. If all three of those things happen right now, either to you or somebody you know, but you are the person that they're coming to for the resolution. Do you know off the top of your head how to resolve all three of those things? Do you have suggestions? Do you have a spell? Do you have something to do? All three of those things. And it's okay if you don't have it in your head or you have a general idea, but if you want to sit down and it's like, I got some time, let's make some magic. Let's knock these problems out of the way. Um, do you have to look at something? Do you have to go research something? Do you have to go find one of the books on your shelves? Um, how long is it going to take for you to come up with a resolution to those things? And these are just like things, and it's not to make anybody feel bad. I'm not bringing this up to like shame anybody or say, see, I know everything. I'm not doing that. I'm going somewhere with this. If it's me, I have a book of shadows. I've got a completed. I have two completed book of shadows. Hard, not on an iPad or anything like that. That I can physically go to and I can thumb through for something that worked. Not something I'm just thinking on the fly, but something that worked. A short-term money issue because I've documented it. I have something for a health spell. I've been keeping track of different herbal remedies already. So I can pull something out because I've already recorded it and I've tried it and I wrote it down and I wrote down how long it took and everything. Um, yeah. And the dream signs and symbols. Well, I've invested in sort of like a combination dream dictionary type thing with signs and symbols. Yeah, I already have something like that to kind of help cross-reference. Um, and if you're somebody who's good about journaling and writing down your dreams and things like that, you have something to kind of go back to because it might be part of something more. But anyway, the point is, I don't have to try to pull it out of my head. And a lot of us we're thinking we have to create something new every time. That's the purpose of your magical journals is you write this stuff down and you can actually reference it again and use it. And maybe this time you add a little extra element or there was a different turn. So you write in the margins or you add a separate page. Um, yeah, I'm just saying it's okay to record things. It's okay to write things down. And it doesn't have to be pretty and long drawn out. Maybe it's just a line notebook, whatever. But the point is, or maybe you're just keeping pieces of paper in a folder. I don't, or on your notes app. Um, but that will let you know, depending on how you thought and processed that question about those three different problems and coming with magical solutions to it. I think if you're honest with yourself and you think about how would you even approach that, it's not so much as knowing all the answers. How are you going to approach that? Why are you reinventing the wheel? You already know when you did that candle spell back in 2022 and the rent was doing you hanging money and things got tight because you had the card and you had to use it for that. You already know it worked. What are we doing? Why are you trying to make something new? You know what to use in case of emergency type money situation. You have a proven spell. Use it. So I will end with that. I hope that helped you. I wasn't, trying to be, mean or anything like that. I don't want anybody like I'm making it seem like, oh, you don't know anything. But no, it's just I'm making a bigger point about record keeping and keeping track of things and yeah, making your life easier as a witch. So yeah, let's make 2025 a year of growth, magic, and community. And my community goals, I kind of didn't really talk about because I'm still developing them. But anyway, yeah, we're all going to manifest together, and I'm hopefully this channel could be helpful in that as you learn different things that I share. So until next time, I hope everybody take care. Blessed be. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Again, you can check out my website, leaptaken.com, for the planner that I mentioned, my witchy planner. It's actually called Witchy Planner. And it is all. I appreciate you all. I am back. I'm back to making videos. Probably more live. I've made this decision. I enjoy approaching it this way. So I think just going forward, I'll do it like this. Unless I have something else. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, this is my approach to 2025 here. All right. Bye, everybody.